Today we have someone really special with us. A century on ODI debut, a double century in just her third test match. She is now the world's leading run getter in ODI cricket and only batswoman to score 7 consecutive half centuries in 50 over cricket. She is also the only cricketer to captain India to 2 World Cup finals. Yes, you guessed it right. Please put your hands together for Mithali Raj. Welcome to the show, Mithali.
Thank you.
Almost 2 decades of international cricket. Can you take us through this journey?
I can put it as before we came under BCCI and after BCCI. For a women cricketer, playing under WCI was a huge challenge in 90s because obviously for the financial status that as a board it wasn't very sound in a manner that we could have a regular tours or regular international series being organized. So I think the exposure for a youngster way back then was very less compared to the current generation, and we are centrally contracted now, so the players can actually focus more on preparing on their own professional approach towards the sport than in the 90s, where the first instant is to find a job so that you can secure yourself financially. So there are a lot of other factors also, like access to the best academies in India. Coming under BCCI, we can walk in anywhere in India to train. Back then, under WCI, I think getting a match in the stadium itself was a huge thing.
There's nothing that that you haven't achieved so far. So what keeps you going still?
All I know is that I enjoy batting, and I believe the career for a sports person is very short, unlike the lawyers or doctors who can still go on after 40-50 years. So I am just trying to play as many games in the best ability that I can, as long as I can, because that is what I believe. When you represent your country, you cannot forego even 1% of your commitment towards working hard and representing your country. And I still believe that I have another year or two before I can hang up my boots, and I'm working extremely hard on my fitness too.
Regarding your batting, everyone talks about the composure, which is one of the talking points of your batting career. So how did you develop this quality?
I've played a lot of corporate matches when I was very young. That's the plus point of playing in those days in 90s, is that though the number of matches in domestic was very less and international was hardly there, our APWCA back then, TN Pillai, he used to enroll women's teams into every corporate invitational tournaments. So even though the standard may not be great, because obviously corporate people play for the love of the sport and they're very passionate, but for players like us who are professional, those matches have helped me to understand how to deal with situations. Bowlers there are very random and they come up with weird bowling actions, and you have to pick, like Malinga's actions. Some of them are very weird, but then as batter you try to pick through those actions, and sometimes you have to play on very bad grounds, so you don't have any choice, even though if the wicket is unprepared or even it is a matting wicket. So these hard days have actually gave me that platform where I can say I could work on my temperament without much pressure.
How do you look at your future? How will you still try and contribute to the game? What are your plans?
I don't know how many more years I will play. As long as I'm fit and performing, I would continue to play. And maybe after my playing days, I probably would look into mentoring the youngsters, because you do have a lot of coaches, a lot of other professional people like the physios, trainers, or bowling coach or batting coach. But I think in today's time, it's important to guide youngsters to focus, because you have so many things that is distracting you. Back then, as a 16-year-old, I didn't have much. I didn't have Twitter, I didn't have Instagram or FB or nothing. You just with your own thoughts. But today's youngsters, as soon as they finish training, they are hooked to their mobile. And also the pressure and the expectations are so huge that sometimes they crumble, and a young talent needs to be molded. He needs to be shown the right path. They do have all these professionals around them, but yet as a sports person, you're pretty much alone sometimes, and it is very important to have a very strong mind. So maybe I can help youngsters in that perspective.
I am Jetsin Chi. I've given tryouts for under 16 MCA. My question is that how do you overcome your negative thoughts?
Negative thoughts come because of fear, and fear comes when you don't have enough belief or faith in your own abilities. It does come to me also. It's not like as a youngster only it can come. Even for a senior player it can come anytime. Sometimes when you don't have runs or you have a string of innings where you haven't scored runs, it tends to creep up. But you can only counter that with another thought that should be positive. How I deal with it is that one is that I have affirmations. I paste few write-ups wherever, say in my hotel room, the places where I am often, so that whenever I'm around that place I try to read it and I keep telling myself. So you try to feed your own mind more positive thoughts, and that actually syncs with your body. To have body and mind sync together, it's important to feed your body, feed your mind also the same thing, and that should be a very positive thing. I still try to think, I'm good, or I shouldn't be thinking about me getting out. And if it is not helping me, if the thought process is not helping me, the best I do is I go into the nets and bat. Because when you're batting, you don't think about anything else. You only focus on the ball. You only try to bat. So you shut out from the outer world. So that helps you. So either you continue to work harder and harder and harder, because at some point you'll hit the jackpot, or you be strong enough in your mind to come out of it.
When you broke into the Indian team, you were the youngest at that point of time. Over the years, you have not only been a part of the team, you are now the captain, and you have also captained senior players then. How has the transition happened, and what were the challenges that you faced in that period?
As a rookie captain and then the most experienced captain and the most experienced player, 2017, I would say that I worked very hard in getting the team together. For most of them, it was their first World Cup. Nobody gave us a chance that we would even reach semis. So was it in 2017. Two people wrote us off saying that, the team will not even qualify till the semis. So we pretty much had no expectation from the outside world. All we knew was, as team, we wanted to make a mark. And me as a player, I wanted to be a very significant World Cup. Whether as a player I would do it or as a captain, I didn't know much before the World Cup. But I wanted it to be a World Cup or a game-changing tournament. In all honesty, I would say that after 2005, I thought I would never get an experience again to be in the World Cup finals. In 2005, when we played the final, there were hardly people in the stadium and there was no televisation of the match. So people didn't know back in India where the Indian women's team was placed in the World Cup and how far and who's performed. Only when we reached the finals and we came runners-up, that's when people started to know here through the newspapers. But in 2017, thanks to the social media, we had a lot of people tweeting and writing about our journey right from the first match that we played against England till the finals. And the finals was, I think, the most watched women game ever in the history. So I think this has been the difference between both the World Cups. 2005, when we lost the finals, I had the seniors crying, and I was thinking, like, we didn't even give a fight, and why are they crying? Because as a young captain, I could not relate to the emotions that, for them that would be the last World Cup. For them, they probably wouldn't be part of the next World Cup squad. When we lost the 2017 World Cup, I could see the same tears from every player. I cried myself in the dressing room. It's just that we came so close. This time we gave a real good fight. We were playing the host in the biggest ground, in front of the biggest crowd ever. And we came so close. It could have been the biggest moment for each one of us for the sport in India.
Subscribe to Midday India. Get direct notifications on all our videos by clicking on the bell icon.